Jennifer to get arrested today. Jennifer is currently in the Hernando County Jail under no bond, and cases are proceeding against her, as well as her, what we believe to be co-conspirator, to try to stop the lawsuit and the action.
The grand theft case of former CEO Jennifer Garula-Mers. Good day, and welcome back to MUDER Mistress, the channel devoted to careful, detailed, and fully contextual reporting on some of the most significant criminal investigations taking place across the United States today. The case examined in this report involves a non-profit professional organization, a trusted executive placed in charge of its day-to-day operations, and a financial crime that authorities say stretched across years, drained tens of thousands of dollars from a membership-based association, and created an internal crisis that ultimately reached the office of one of the most outspoken and visible sheriffs in the nation. Before this investigation continues, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. These cases are examined with care, accuracy, and deep research here on MUDER Mistress, and viewer support ensures that the truth, supported by law enforcement sources, public documents, and direct statements from investigators, continues to reach everyone who values transparency and accountability in the criminal justice system. Please remember to like this report, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so that every new investigation arrives the moment it is released.
I want to talk today for a few minutes about the East Polk County Association of Realtors and their ex-executive director, Jennifer Garula-Mers, M-E-R-S, Mers. Here's what's important to understand. This all started in about 2021, 2022, when a realtor by the name of R.J. Webb was elected the president of the association.
This case originates in East Polk County, Florida, where the East Polk County Association of Realtors, commonly known as EPCAR, functions as a non-profit professional association responsible for supporting real estate agents, advocating for professional ethics, maintaining standards, and providing a unified structure for professionals working within the region's competitive housing market. Under ordinary circumstances, EPCAR is the type of organization that the general public rarely hears about. Its work is specialized, administrative, and deeply rooted in internal operations that matter enormously to its members, but only occasionally to wider audiences. However, in this investigation, EPCAR became the center of a criminal case that expanded from internal financial irregularities to a full criminal inquiry launched by the Polk County Sheriff's Office.
Appropriate. So as president of the association, at the board meetings, he challenged the executive director to see documents, to see financials, to see information. The executive director absolutely refused to show the president of the association the appropriate documents. Not only that, the board of directors backed up the executive director, Jennifer Mers, as opposed to their own president, R.J. Webb.
At the center of that inquiry is the former chief executive officer of the association, 53-year-old Jennifer Garula-Mers of Spring Hill, Florida. According to the Polk County Sheriff's Office, Garula-Mers is accused of stealing more than $80,000 from the association through a pattern of unauthorized salary increases.
They said he was just trying to cause trouble. It was abundantly evident that there was a problem. So this internal strife went on for a period of time, and RJ, who can provide more details for those in the association, finally personally brought lawsuit in order to stop this conduct and to stop what he believed to be the theft of funds.
Self-issued bonuses, and inappropriate personal credit card charges. The sheriff's office stated that the theft began soon after she was hired in 2020 and continued for years, ultimately triggering a leadership crisis inside the organization. She was arrested on November 20, 2025, by the Hernando County Sheriff's Office on a Polk County warrant. She is currently being held on no bond until her first court appearance. Sheriff Grady Judd, known nationwide for his direct communication style during criminal briefings, held a scheduled news conference to outline the findings of investigators, describe the nature of the allegations, and issue warnings to nonprofit organizations regarding the importance of strong oversight and internal checks.
To investigate David Stachwick. He's 55 from Weeki Wachee. Now let me tell you about him. After RJ filed a lawsuit, and now this is still all civil, RJ and his father, who is a realtor, Webb's Real Estate, got a call from an Anthony. Hey, I'm Anthony from Chicago. Things are not going to end well if the lawsuit doesn't stop. You know, it needs to drop the lawsuit or it won't end well. So at that time, John and RJ, who by the way recorded the conversation, said, "Are you threatening us? Are you threatening us?" Hey, I've run the streets of Chicago. I can just tell you, this may not end well. So that was the end of the phone call.
The statement delivered by Sheriff Judd made clear that authorities believe the misconduct began early in her tenure. Investigators say she used her position to approve her own compensation increases, process financial rewards without proper board authorization, and charge personal items to the organization. The sheriff pointed out that the theft was not a single act or sudden financial event, but a long-term pattern of behavior that slowly extracted money from a non-profit association that relied on member dues, professional fees, and community-based funding. According to the sheriff, the association hired Garula-Mers with the expectation that she would manage operations, oversee professional standards, and guide the association through routine business activity. Instead, investigators allege that she used the authority of her role to create more favorable financial arrangements for herself, accumulating unauthorized payouts that eventually totaled more than $81,000. The association terminated her employment in August of 2024 after internal concerns intensified. But the arrest and criminal charges stem from the full investigation conducted after her removal, when board members and law enforcement reviewed financial records, digital communications, internal documents, and payroll history. According to Sheriff Judd's briefing, the evidence compiled by investigators presents a clear pattern of theft. During the same news conference, Sheriff Judd referenced another individual connected to the broader investigation, a man named David Stachwick.
To investigate David Stachwick. He's 55 from Weeki Wachee. Now let me tell you about him. After RJ filed a lawsuit, and now this is still all civil, RJ and his father, who is a realtor, Webb's Real Estate, got a call from an Anthony.
According to the sheriff, Stachwick's arrest took place in October of 2024 and involved charges of felony extortion, tampering with evidence, and use of a two-way communication device in the commission of a crime. Although his charges are related to the case, they represent a different aspect of the criminal allegations involving threats intended to discourage a civil lawsuit connected to the misappropriated funds. Stachwick has since bonded out of jail and awaits trial. Sheriff Judd referred to him as a co-conspirator, indicating that both individuals played roles in conduct that ultimately triggered separate criminal charges. Based on the timeline provided by authorities, the financial issues inside EPCAR began around late 2020, shortly after Garula-Mers assumed the position of CEO. Her role granted her access to sensitive accounts, financial approval processes, payroll systems, and organizational credit cards. According to investigators, she began increasing her own salary without the appropriate authorization from the board. In addition, she processed bonuses and issued financial benefits that were undocumented or improperly documented, and charged non-business expenses to the organization's credit accounts. This pattern, according to investigators, unfolded across several years and did not immediately surface due to limited oversight. The sheriff emphasized that non-profit organizations, especially those dependent on volunteer boards or rotating leadership, often lack robust internal safeguards. He used this case to highlight the need for routine audits, consistent financial review, and strict procedural checks to prevent misconduct of this nature. As internal irregularities increased, concerns emerged within EPCAR's leadership. The association president reportedly raised early warnings that were dismissed at first by the board. Those concerns centered on financial inconsistencies and unusual accounting entries that did not align with standard organizational procedures. However, the extent of the unauthorized disbursements did not become fully visible until further investigation, prompting wider involvement from board members and, eventually,